All right, I'm going to go live from inside my office today. A little different than normal, on Monday. Usually on Monday I'm outside, but today I'm going to be in my office. I feel like I have been run over by a train, so I'm going to hang out in the office today. And I'm doing a little experiment this morning with Facebook Live. So ride along with me as Facebook builds an audience, and we'll get to this. I want to see what's going on here as Facebook starts to build an audience. We'll see how this looks. All right, good. It's coming up. I want to do a better job of monitoring the comments today, because I want to work on something. I am kind of looking forward to this. Hey, Doug, it's good to see you. Let's try to connect, Doug. Like I said, I feel like I've been hit by a train today, so let me see how I get along here this morning for a little bit, and I'll see if I can't get a hold of you in a little bit, Doug, okay? Betty, good to have you. Always good to see you on. Good morning, Misty. I haven't seen you for a while, so good to have you on as well. All right, let's talk about today's topic. Today's topic is going to be interesting. I want to talk about the topic of reward, and I'm going to have to read the original comment that was made over here. So give me just a second to do that. I want to, last week when we were talking about facts, I want to pull this over here so I can see this. Last week when we were talking about facts, Joanna made a comment, and Joanna makes brilliant comments, by the way, and I always appreciate her comments. And so, good morning, Deborah. I want to take that comment and I want to talk about it because it's something that we forget, and we've been being played with for a long time, and I want to talk about that. I talked about manipulated facts last week, and so Joanna asked this question. She said, why is it that we tend to go for the manipulated information first? And that's a really, really good question, because I talked about the danger of using Google as your means or your mechanism for determining truth. Because what happens is this, it's really simple. What happens is that the more we watch, or the more we search for something, the more it gets clicked on, the higher it ranks in Google. Okay, so if something, if a truth, if a statement, if something gets said that's incorrect, but it gets shared a lot and people are clicking on it, it's going to rise up in the ranks in Google, and then it gets the appearance of authority. Well, just because it ranks well in Google doesn't mean it has authority. So that was the manipulated truth. So let's talk about that. I want to read to you, and I said that I think one of the reasons why it happens is because we reward it. So let me read to you the principle written by that was developed by Thorndike when the whole behavioral psychology thing was happening back in 1905. So let me read this comment to you, and we're going to apply it to Facebook and Google today. Okay, so stick with me. Responses that produce a satisfying effect in a particular situation become more likely to occur again in that situation. In other words, if I get something from this, whatever the something is, if I get some excitement from this, or if I get some emotion attached to this, then the next time I find myself in that situation, it triggers that. It triggers that thought, it triggers that thinking, it triggers that feeling, and so I pursue those things that trigger that feeling. And responses that produce a discomforting effect become less likely to occur in that situation. So we get more of what we reward is the principle. It's a fundamental law that works in our body, works in our mind, works in our heart, works in our emotions, that when it triggers something that we find satisfying. So here's what happens with your Facebook news feed. All right? I was talking to a guy today, and he goes, man, I never get live feeds appear in my Facebook news feed. I said, do you ever watch them? He goes, I just watch random stuff occasionally. Okay, then that's the point. The point is that if you're watching random stuff occasionally, then you're going to get fed random stuff occasionally. Because Facebook practices this principle. You get more of what you reward. And so if your news feed is filled with garbage, guess what you're doing? You're clicking on garbage and you're telling them that's what you want. you get more of what you reward. If it's filled with stuff that is meaningful to you and beneficial to you, you're getting more of what you reward. So part of my experiment today is I am watching to see what happens. And I'm getting a response from you. And I'm looking at the logarithm in Facebook to figure out what they're seeing about the things that, because you're going to get more of what you reward. And I get exactly the same thing. If I ask you all to say good morning, which many of you have, if you say good morning, well, good is a positive word. Facebook sees that as a positive word. But when we start referring to other people in derogatory terms, Facebook sees that as negative, and obviously you want to get fed negative stuff. So we get more of what we reward. Same thing happens when I do a Google search for something that's false. Good morning, Rebecca. It's good to see you. Now, I want to show you something. If I can, I'm going to try to do this, okay? Do you see right here? Can you see my screen? I don't know if you can see that or not. See the comment that Rebecca just made? I know you can't see the comment, but you can see that it was blue. It was a good morning. Because it was good, it showed up blue. So Facebook recognizes that as something that was good, something that was positive, that somehow the content that's being produced here is creating good things. It's good stuff. It's stuff that people find attractive. It's stuff that people want more of. And so they feed you more of it. They operate on that principle of reward. You get more of what you reward. And so the truth, if it's manipulated, and you're clicking on it, you're chasing it down, you're thinking about it, you're focusing on it, you're going to get more of what you reward. Now, it's true in Google, it's true in Facebook, and it's also true in how your brain works. You get more of what you reward. So you want to be really careful what you're rewarding. That's my point today. Be careful what you reward. Because the things that get your time, your attention, and let me even throw this word in there, your affection, those things you will get more of. All right? If I am jumping on every negative, I don't care which side of the political arena you're on, I really don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me because I'm not going to change your opinion sitting here doing a live feed. But you're going to get more of what you reward. So if you find yourself constantly clicking on things that are negative, you're going to get more of it. You'll get your news feed filled with that kind of stuff. I see people who say, man, I get all this stuff about this and about that. And I said, what are you doing with it? You're telling Facebook that's what you want. You do the same thing with your brain. You're telling your brain that's more of what you want. Let's make sure that we feed ourselves good, positive stuff. As Misty says, that you attract more of what you're seeking after. That's the whole point today, is that the law of reward, which I read to you earlier, the law of reward is alive and well. It works in Facebook, it works in Google, and it works in you. And you've got to be really, really careful about the stuff that you pull in, because you're going to get more of it if you continue to pursue it. Now, I want to make sure that you get good quality stuff. That what I share with you becomes positive, that it becomes good, that it's something that you can get value from. Because when it's good and when it's positive, when it's something that you get value from, and you reward that by holding a conversation with me, by us having a two-way conversation here, by us talking to each other. When I get private messages from people later saying, man, that was really good, or man, I really need some help with this, or man, that was just exactly the thing I needed today. And I get that a lot. Then what you're doing is you're rewarding that behavior. Responses that produce a satisfying effect. Man, I'll tell you what, just doing this, just giving somebody gratitude will get you more of what you're grateful for. Not necessarily from that person. That's not being manipulative. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that if you find yourself smiling at every stranger that you meet, what you'll notice is pretty soon that strangers around you are starting to smile back. And that's a little thing, but it grows from there. That everything that you do, if you find yourself rewarding those things that satisfy for you, Some people are just naturally crabby. And so what they end up surrounding themselves with are crabbiness. And that's not what we want. Let's focus our attention on rewarding those things that we find to be satisfying. All right? I had to stop watching the news because watching the news gave me, I was rewarding that. And rewarding it was not helping me at all. What it was doing instead was it was causing me to focus my attention there. And I would feel this negative energy. And that negative energy was having a big impact on me without me even knowing it. And that's what I'm trying to help you talk about today, is that let's change the stuff that we program in. Just like Facebook will give you more of what you reward, Google will raise that up in the rankings even if it's false. Let's just be really careful what we stick in, because what we stick in has an impact on us, and we end up getting more of it. People will start bringing up to you news topics if you're thinking about the news all the time. I don't want to have conversations about the weather, so I don't think about the weather all the time because I want to limit the amount of stuff that goes on. Let's fill our hearts, our heads, and our minds with stuff that's beneficial to us, not stuff that is going to be detrimental to us. In the Bible it says this: guard your heart, and above everything else, guard your heart. Make sure that you're careful about what goes in. Very good point, Misty. Let me read that, okay? I was ministering to a woman this weekend who is suffering from anxiety due to mainstream news. Yeah, exactly. When we start feeding ourselves those things, we can become very anxious. And we can start wondering what's going to happen next. And we got negative stuff going on today. I was watching earlier the comments that were made. It's interesting, Misty, because I just looked. That comment shows up as negative because it has anxiety in it. And so Facebook tagged it as being a negative comment. Well, anxiety is a negative thing. It's not beneficial to us. It doesn't help us. It can't move our agenda forward if we do that. And so we want to find a way to deal with that. And thank you for taking care of that lady and helping her with that. Because when we constantly put that stuff in, then what ends up happening is we end up flagged as negative. All right? And it starts creating anxiety inside of us. And that's not going to help. It's not going to move our agenda forward. It's not going to make us a better person. It's not going to make us better equipped to be able to help other people. And we will have a negative impact on the world rather than a positive one. Let's be really careful about the things that we reward, because responses that produce a satisfying effect in a particular situation are more likely to occur again in that situation. So let's make sure that the stuff that we are rewarding are satisfying, that are good for us, that benefit us, that make us better in what we do. And Jason Hodge is a good example of that. And he's just joined us. Jason's a guy who's constantly got some positive impact on other people. And as a result, I want to listen to what Jason has to say. Let's understand that this law of reward is at work all the time. It's at work with us and in us all the time. And we're going to get more of what we reward. So if we're rewarding that negativity, we're going to get more of it. If we're feeding that mainstream media and we end up anxious, what's going to happen? We're going to listen for more. We're going to be attracted to more. And when we get attracted to more, even if it's manipulated truth, when we get attracted to it, it's going to create that anxious feeling inside of us. So now, before we go, I have a question for you. Has this been helpful? Can this be beneficial to you? If it has, tell me yes in the chat. Just let me know that this has been helpful, because I want to reward you with more of what you want. Okay? I want to be able to give you the positive things. It would be, I guess you would get an audience by talking about negative garbage, but I prefer not to do that. What I prefer to do is give you what you want. And I'm hoping that I can help you to understand that what you should want are things that can be beneficial to you, things that satisfy that desire to reach the intended agenda and the goal. Good morning, Jeremy. You're catching me right at the tail end here. So we've been talking about getting more of what you reward. And I've been trying to encourage folks today that we want to reward good behavior, that we want to reward positive things, that we want to reward those things that help us to grow as a person. And we always get more of what we reward. So by telling me, yes, that's what I want, if telling me, give me more of this, this is what I'm looking for. I want to be able to reward you with the things that can be helpful to you. That's why I do this. That's why on a day when I feel like I've been run over by a train, that I'm still going to sit here and I'm going to go live and I'm going to talk to you about the things that can help you to grow as a person, because that's really my passion. My passion and my desire is to help you to do better at what you do. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining me. And I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Maybe outside, maybe feeling a little bit better, maybe inside my truck, somewhere else. But I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.